Hey folks, welcome to today's video. Today I'm gonna talk about the different infantry roles in Hell Let Loose. I hope you find this video useful, so enjoy. First of all, I'm going to talk about the officer role, but first I'll be giving some basic information about the factions/nations you'll be playing as. In Hell Let Loose, you have 4 different nations you'll be fighting for. We have the 2 factions, the Allies and the Axis. On the Allies, you have the Soviets, aka the Russian army, then you have the American army, and last you have the British army. And of course, on the Axis side, you have the German army. All the roles have different loadouts depending on the nation you play, and as you see on the officer, you'll be starting out using a machine gun no matter the nation. Okay, let's go back to the officer role. As an officer, you'll be leading a unit consisting of 6 people, including yourself. As an officer, your job is to lead your unit around and be the person to pass on information you get from the commander, other officers, and your own unit. The reason why you have to do this is because you're the only person in your unit who will be able to hear the commander voice chat. So as a good officer, you'll be talking a lot, sending information both ways. Okay, another thing you can as an officer besides talking to the commander and the other officers is that you're able to build something called the outpost and the garrison. What are these two things, you might ask? Well, let me explain. The outpost is a spawn point that you can place on the ground, which will give your own unit another place to spawn instead of the default spawns or the garrisons. You can place the outpost every 90 seconds, but if you don't want to wait for the cooldown, you can pick it back up and then there will be no cooldown. You can only have one outpost down at a time, so if you have one placed and you choose to place another one, that will replace the other one you already have before. Then we have the garrison. The garrison is a bigger spawn point and allow the whole team to spawn it. To build the garrison you need at least 50 supplies in your own sector, aka the blue zones, and if you want to build one in the enemy zone you need 100 supplies. You can get supplies from your support player who can place 50 supplies every 5 minutes from a supply truck. The supply truck can drop 2 supply crates with 150 supplies in each crate, or from the commander calling in a supply drop, and then you will receive 100 supplies falling from the sky. Another thing I want to say is that you don't have to stand on top of the supplies to build garrisons or anything else. The reason why I say this is because I see a lot of new officers or engineers thinking either they have to pick up the supplies or they have to stand right on top of it. I'm not sure how far away you can be, but I think at least 50 meters as you see in one of the clips. Then the last thing I want to say about playing officer is 1. You always want to have your outpost down so your unit can push and stay close to the capture points. 2. Make some risky plays. Try to get behind the enemy lines or do big flanks. And remember to place your outpost so your unit can keep spawning and make it hard for the enemies. Because sometimes one risky play from you or your unit can win the point or sometimes actually win the game. As you see in this clip that I've been playing in the background, I've flanked all the way around the enemy last point and are now able to place a new outpost so my unit can spawn here and we can make some space for the rest of the team to come join us by using the 2 garrisons we have in the south and the one in the west. Moving on to the Rifleman role, this is a less important role as I see it, because the Riflemen do not have anything to do. They can't place anything, they can't do anything besides shooting and nading people. Some of the other roles can place mines, explode things, drop supplies, and do a lot of other stuff, but the Rifleman is one of the 3 roles who can't do anything. Of course, you can play the role though, but you're not gonna do any effect on the game, and you're not gonna help your team out that much besides killing the people. So if you want to make yourself more useful, please don't play the Rifleman role. If you have a medic, the support, the machine gunner, and anti-tank and engineer role open, so please take one of those roles. I'm not saying that you can't play the Rifleman, but if you want to make yourself more useful, don't play the Rifleman. Moving on to the Assault class, which is also one of the less useful classes, but is the most useful of the 3 less useful classes. It's because of their smokes. So as an assault, you have an automatic rifle gun, and that is also decent and good in the combat, but you are still useless because you can't do anything. If you get in max level though, you will be able to place satchels, which is a good thing, so you can explode the tanks, so that I would say is a good thing about the assault class. And that you have the smokes, because in this game you want a lot of smokes, and sometimes when you have to push some points, you also want to be able to smoke your team up so they can push up using the smokes as cover. So that's the one good thing about playing the assault class, but beside that, as I said before, if some of the other roles are open, please play them instead. Last but not least, the automatic rifleman class. This is the second worst of the not useful classes because they do have a heavier gun, so I would say that this is better than the Rifleman, because besides that they only do the same thing, they can only nade and shoot people, which is also a good thing. Again, I won't say these classes are not useful at all. I'll just say like they are more or less useful than the other classes we are going to talk about next. So if you want to play one of these roles, you should play the Assault first, then the Automatic Rifleman, and then I would choose the Rifleman if you have to choose of these roles. Because in the fights, the guns on the Automatic Riflemans are really good because they are automatic machine guns. So that is a good thing about this class. But again, don't play him if you can play some of the other roles, and if you want to play some of the other roles, I would say. So yeah, that's the Automatic Rifleman. Moving on to the medic role, I would say is one of the more useful roles in this game. It's one of the 6 useful roles. As a medic, you want to be up front. You got the dirty job in this game. You want to get your teammates back in the fight. You want to keep them in the fight. And at the same time, you want to be up front. You got 2 smokes. You only have 2 max for your guns, so you ain't got much firepower. You gotta be careful using your bullets too much. Another thing I would say about the medic role is that it's a really important role, but it's one of the less played roles, because like this is a really important role when you start pushing up to strongholds or like other capturing points. You do want a medic to get your people back in the fights, but at the same time you don't see a lot of medics on the server, so I feel like this could be one of the roles that people should start playing more and like appreciate more, because it can be fun to play as a medic. Like you get a lot of action, you're gonna be where the action is going on, and at the same time you can rush people, you can bandage fast, and yeah, you can just like change like some of the outcomes of some pushes sometimes. Yeah. Here I have 2 clips showing you guys how it can be playing a medic, and I will not be speaking over these clips because you just wanna watch the fun you can have by playing medic. So I'll just let you guys watch them and see some of the fun you can have as playing as a medic role and what you want to do as a medic.
Medic. Thank you, man. You're the best.
Well, let's see if we can try to save these guys one more time.
Thank you once again, medic. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Magic. I appreciate that a lot. You have Magic. I don't need Magic.
Well, that didn't end like planned. Okay, let's talk a bit about the support class. The support class is also one of the better classes you can play in this game, because you can be dropping supplies, which is really important in this game. You can either drop supplies for your engineers, your officers, the commander, and mostly in this game you want to be running together with your own officer, because you can be running around dropping supplies to your officer so you can build garrisons on the map, and then you don't have your commander to drop supplies all over the place, or you don't have to use a supply truck to drive up and drop supplies to kill the Gary. As you see in this clip, if you run up to a manpower node and you drop your supplies, you will halve the time it takes to get your supplies back. So instead of 5 minutes, it will be 2.5 minutes. As you see in this clip, I am dropping supplies for my officer in the north, so our unit can build a garrison, which means our team is able to push from the north now. And we didn't have a supply truck or a supply drop from our commander, because I could be able to drop 50 supplies to my squad leader, and when we're in the blue zone, we can build the garrison. Moving on to the big guns, the machine gunner. As a machine gunner, you want to try to lock down certain areas or sectors of the map. You want to find a good position, lay down, give your team supporting fire, heavy fire. You want to like push the enemies away. You want to like try to push the enemies. You can choose whatever you want to do with the machine gun, but at least find a good position. Try to pin down the enemies while your team is pushing up, or like try to pin down the enemies while you're defending, so your team can like work themselves out and push out the enemies away from the point you're trying to defend. As you see in this clip, what you want to do is you want to try to find a good position to lie down and shoot the enemy. It's all about positioning, boys. Like, look at me. Okay, positions, boys. It's all about finding those good positions. Finally. Oh, I can't see fucking shit. Okay, let's try over here. Finally. Good positioning, boys. So you can kill. When you finally find a good position and you lie down and you just want to pin down the enemy, you can help your team out holding big areas on the map because you got a lot of firepower. And as you see in this clip, I'm locking down this whole road and this certain area of the map so the enemies can't push from the east of the point. By doing this, I allow my team to push out some of the other places and hold the enemies away. And then, like, in this building, I was holding the enemies away for a long time. And that I will leave to another video, because this house, I was holding it down for a long time. And then this game ended in a victory, boys. But that I will show you in another video, a separate machine gunner video for itself. Moving on to the second last role, the anti-tanker. The anti-tanker is one of the most important roles in this game, I would say. It's a must in every unit, because if the enemies get to use their tanks, they can destroy a whole team and easily win the game. So you want at least one per unit anti-tanker that can take out the enemy tanks and destroy them, or at least like some supply trucks and everything with the bazookas. And as you see in this clip, it's me using the PTRS-41 at the Soviets' starting gun. It's an anti-tank sniper rifle, and it's really, really bad. It takes like 2 or 3 max to destroy at least just a truck or something. So what you want as a Russian is you want to get max level with the anti-tanker, because using this gun is terrible. Or at least get to level 3, where you can get a satchel and destroy the tanks with the satchels instead. Because as you see in this clip, I'm trying to shoot those tanks, and finally I'm shooting this tank. But yeah, okay, let's go to the second mag. We already gave it 1 mag, and there was another guy giving it 1 mag. But let's just give it another mag and see if we can kill this tank. Hopefully we can. Okay, then the third mag. Let's give it a third mag, and finally we kill the first tank with this gun in this game. And then we can... Oh, fuck's sakes, victory. And then we have the anti-tank guns. I think this is called the 57mm gun M1 on the Soviet side. What you can do with this gun is that you can take out tanks with a bigger cannon. You can be 2 people placed in this gun, 1 reloading, 1 shooting this gun. What you have to think about is, though, that you are using munition from your commander. So like you're taking 5 munitions per shot. So yes, I will be wasting 2 bullets or like 10 munition in this clip, but it's for the content of the video, right? But you can also be sitting alone in this gun and like just swap between shooting and reloading, and it will still work perfectly fine. So you don't need to be 2 people controlling this thing.
Right in front of me.
In this clip, you are watching me going up behind the enemy tank with the German bazooka. Or what you would call it, the German Panzerkraken, I think it's called.
Getting shot at, fuck me.
It's a great bazooka. Takes 2 bullets from the back in a medium tank or light tank, and then you can take it out and just enjoy the view of the explosion, boys. And now the last role, boys, engineer. Engineer have a lot of roles in this game, actually. Engineer is also aka Bob the Builder. You are the guy building everything in this game. You can place mines for the tanks, you can place mines for the infantry, you can repair tanks with the torch, but the most important thing is you can build nodes. Nodes is a thing that you can build to help out the commander generate more points in the 3 things you have in this game. You have the manpower, the fuel, and the munitions. These points are something that the commander uses to call in airstrikes, supplies, tanks, everything he wants to call in, he uses points for. So in this clip you can see me building the 3 different nodes you have, starting out by building the munitions, then the fuel, and then the manpower. Then what you can see here on the map is that it's changed from giving 30 points per minute to giving 40 in each now. So in this clip I choose to build some nodes just on the other side of the line The dangerous thing is that if we lose the middle point, we will also lose these nodes, but I saw the 100 supplies and thought, why not? So I built the munitions and the manpower because those are the most two important nodes you can build. In this clip you can see me being Bob the Builder, trying to build some barbed wire. And by building this, I can protect this point we have to hold. To like keep the enemies away, you can build a lot of different stuff. You can build bunkers, walls, barbed wire, and so on. You can also build defensive on the road. Here you see me building a bunker, and yes, I do see the enemy passing by in the truck in front of me. I'll just give him a little warning shot and get him away, but for the sake of the video I didn't chase this guy down. Here you see me build the first part of the bunker. You can upgrade this bunker, I think 3 times, and you will have a full bunker, but in this clip you'll only see me building up 2 tires. If you're driving around in a supply truck and you have already used your 2 supply crates, you can, by going back to the spawn or driving back to the spawn, you can refill the supply crates by driving into that little thing with the crane on. And here you just have another clip of me trying to build a bunker, hold down this road in the north, so if the enemy pushes us, we are blocking the road. I just add some obstacles to the road right here, so if the enemies choose to drive this way, they will have a harder time passing by. And if I wanted, I could place down a mine behind it, and they will maybe explode if they drive past. That would be the easy ways to take out the tanks. The last thing I want to tell you guys, or like a tip in this video, would be always, if you see enemy supplies, take them away. If you see enemy supplies lying on the ground and you are able to take them away, do it, because then you stop the enemies from building garrisons or any protection that the engineers are building on the road. So just do your team a big favor by removing them, and that's great.
Has been removed.
So there you have it. This is all of the infantry roles. In this picture I've made here, you see some of the roles I've put Mia on and some of the roles I've put Nair on. The Mia roles are the most important roles, and the Nair roles are not as important roles. After my saying, I know a lot of you guys would maybe argue like that the Rifleman and assault rifle and the automatic Rifleman are also as important as the other things, and they are, and you also have to play them because you can't play all the other roles. But if you want to make the best squad as possible, or the best unit in this game, you want an officer, a medic, a support player, a machine gunner, and an anti-tank, and then last off an engineer, and then you have the perfect unit in this game. And then if you guys can figure out to play the way you should as your roles, you'll have the perfect squad. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching, and let me know in the comments what you think is the most important infantry role.